Hello, everyone. Welcome to Frequency Bone Summer Music Connection 9, Video 2. And we're going to be looking into authenticity. The longer title is Authenticity, a Custom Job. I just did some really interesting masterclass at this Berklee Boston Conservatory Brass Intensive. And I realize that all of what I do and my wife does is try to find the authenticity, the genuineness, the originality. At the same time, the laws of nature that influence all the diversity. Because there are certain things that affect everybody in a similar way. Even though there still might be different, sorry, my shirt's bothering me. There still might be different feelings, sensitivities, mental nuances that people feel. So there's going to be differences, but there's going to be something similar. It's going to be something similar. And we did a lot of experimentation with color. And at one point, this trumpet trio that was playing, the class had been going on for a while, and I said to them, look, what's your favorite color? So I asked this one lady her favorite color. She told me it was magenta. I asked this other gentleman from Mexico. And I'd say the ages were between maybe 15 and 17. And asked this man from Mexico, this young man from Mexico, I said, what's your favorite color? He said, red. And he was wearing these bright red sneakers. And then I asked another man, I can't remember where he was from. I said, what's your favorite color? Blue. So we had magenta, red, and blue. Magenta, red, and blue. Now, I realized that they were expressing their like of a color which fit with an aspect of themselves. And color is an extraordinary territory. And we talk about tone color all day long. But if you say to someone, hey, you're getting a bit of an orange sound, they look at you like, what do you mean? Oh, now if I said, your sound's getting a bit bright. People, oh, that's accepted terminology. Or it's dark. We've expanded since then. We have sweet, warm, rich, full. Those adjectives existed before that, when I was a student. But for a while, there was a big thing with bright or dark. Bright was getting to be bad, and dark was getting to be really good. Well, we all know that there's just not two kinds. There's a spectrum of possibility, like there's a spectrum of human beings. And it's such a big rainbow that even if you were going to say everyone was white, red, blue, yellow, green, well, that was 5. Let's see. Rainbow would be red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. You could fit people maybe into those categories, knowing that human beings might actually go through all those different vibrations in a lifetime expressing different things, right? Because a person can be red with rage and then be feeling very blue, or green with envy. Interesting how these colors came about. Perhaps at one time people could even see those colors around somebody. Now, I'm not saying people can't these days, but we're maybe not trained to be able to see them anymore. Maybe that's just not an important thing. Anyway, tone color. And so I was really caught by this. I've done experiments like this for years and years and years now, over 3 decades for sure. And I said, so you're going to play whatever passages you're going to play, take turns playing, but you stay in your color and express it from that color band. So the red, the blue, the magenta. And what happened was magical. And from my perspective, doing this so many times, which I'm never not blown away by how incredible this is, that each person wasn't necessarily trying to blend with the other one in this particular exercise, but they were being themselves, having a conversation in something they resonated with. So this person was resonating a statement from their feeling of blue, and they were putting all these different shades of blue, because there's not one kind of blue, right? There's different shades. There's different qualities of magenta. There's a spectrum of red. I'll tell you, I wish that would have been recorded. It was incredible. It was incredible confirmation of a deeper side of tuning. Now we took that same group. Actually, we added a couple more people to it. Yeah, we added another person. And I was having them play a certain passage. Okay, I had them do that together. These were trumpets. And at first, when they hit that E flat, the bottom E flat, it was very relatively out of tune in terms of, well, it didn't gel. You could feel all that. The other notes weren't quite singing up, but that one was really not happening. We tried a few more things, and then I said, okay, trumpets, think red and do the whole thing. Well, the da-dee-da, close but no cigar. So that was very spot on. But as soon as they got to that E flat again, it wasn't happening. And I started to have a feeling why it wasn't happening. So I said, could you please, on the E flat, that lower E flat, could I just hear that E flat? And I want you to think a watery, wavy blue. Find yourself in that hue where blue moves. Now, I didn't say it exactly like that. That was kind of poetic. Interesting. You never know what can come out of you if you're in certain connected states. Let things happen. So they played it again, thinking about that concept of blue. The E flat totally lined up. Totally lined up. Everyone was unified. Everyone was on the same frequency. And then I said to them, look, play the first part. Da dee da. Play that red. And then when you go the E flat, blue, red, blue. And they did it. And it could have sounded like any three great players in the world playing totally unison. And the unison was them being lined up to the same thing. It was miraculous. And people want to know how to tune in sections and all this stuff. You might want to try making sure you're in a similar place and try some experimenting. But it's funny, isn't it? A lot for you professionals who are watching this, people who are gigging and professionals and symphonic players, jazz players, I don't care what level you play. You might want to experiment once in a while, just not with a new mouthpiece, just not with a new horn, because these people had all different horns. It's about being able to feel free to experiment too. In a lot of the professional work, we might not feel that free to experiment. But just saying on tannoys, hey, you guys, what about a vibrant gold? Or maybe soar through the air like an eagle. Can we try that? I think most people will be developed enough that they could maybe juggle that in. Instead of just, is our B natural exactly right and our G sharp? Let's make sure. Try some other things. So because someone like me, I'm going to listen to it, for example, and I'll be able to sometimes really be aware of, boy, these people have really tuned each note. And it starts to almost get a verticality to it in a very subtle way instead of a very, very long line. So these are small things that are giant in their result. And frankly, will add a whole different body of what's possible. A whole different body of color, texture, depth. In so many ways. If we were, one of those, I was going to say, about the Wizard of Oz and the lion. If I only had the courage. Be bold in a nice way. Come with a love of what you do and experiment, mindful of others. Not everyone's going to be, yeah, let's try this. But if you're in high school, maybe people are a little more open. They're not worried so much about their jobs being on the line. And those of you who are, and there's some things aren't happening as good as you like, or as well as you like, why don't you try? Why not? Why not? The same thing happened with trombones. We were playing. We started with red, and we were doing some things before without it. Then we added the red. It unified things up in a pretty good way. Felt stronger, more confident, unified. Everyone was in more of an arterial mode because red is aligned a little more to our arterial system, a little more masculine, punchy oriented. For lack of better, there's a lot more that could be described about that. And then we tried blue, and we actually got a little bit like, where are we? But then we went to a very smooth, calm yellow. And bingo. Absolutely together and on. Isn't this great stuff? What does it have to do with authenticity, a custom job? Well, the custom job, for example, in the trumpets, each particular one picked their own color. And what happened was magical. Now they were all playing alone. If we would have combined them together, I've done that before with people thinking different things, and sometimes it lines up great because people are being true to themselves and where they're at. It's called being friends with infinity, using the incredible natural laws of nature. You'll never be lost for ideas. That's why I am not. And I'm very, very thankful for that. But anyone can do it. If you love it, too, it helps. And the trombones, when we hit yellow, it was unanimous throughout the room and the players. How great that felt. And a lot of chorales can vibrate to a certain very warm, high. Yellow can be a very spiritual color. The more refined yellows. And so, have fun. Enjoy. How about fun and profound? And maybe you'll find out a little bit more about authenticity if you give yourself a chance to experiment out of what might not always be considered the norm. That's a funny name for me. So anyway, I think I'll end this session, okay? And I'll end it with meditative longing. And if it doesn't sound like the previous video's version, today is a different day.